What's going on, everyone? So the Lakers are really going to be at the mercy of D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reaves, and Rui Hachimura. LeBron James and Anthony Davis, you know what they're going to bring you, right? These guys are half decent. They're going to get to the conference finals, potentially the NBA finals, and maybe even win, right? But how much do LeBron James and Anthony Davis have to carry? They're going to throw you on their back. They might even be able to take you to the promised land. But if you're too much of a dead weight, eventually it's going to weigh them down, pull them down, and you're not going anywhere, right? But if these three can really kind of help take off some of the burden off of LeBron James and Anthony Davis night in and night out, and then in the playoffs, which all three of these guys have had their struggles in the playoffs last season. Austin Reaves, he shot 28% from three and didn't quite look like himself. Rui completely disappeared. And then D'Angelo Russell, right? He was good in like half the games, but he disappeared at times, right? We need these three to be the best versions possible. These three guys are, we go as far as these guys take us unless trades end up happening or someone else emerges, something crazy happens, right? These three guys are incredibly important to the success of the Lakers. Now, during the regular season, not really worried about it, right? D'Angelo Russell's coming off a historically great season. He's been very good his career throughout the course of the regular season. His concerns is kind of more playoff time, but you have to get through the regular season to get to the playoffs. I obviously, again, I'd like a trade, like to kind of get that bona fide third guy. However, I would rather take my chances by getting to the playoffs than not. Right? Because D'Lo disappearing in the playoffs and us getting in the playoffs is still better than not making the playoffs at all. Right? Obviously, I don't want to lose in the first round or anything like that, but I want to at least be in the playoffs. Rui Hachimura, he's shown throughout his career outside of last season that he actually elevates in the playoffs and is better in the playoffs. He had his struggles last playoff run, but, it's like, okay, well, how much of that was just like circumstances and an outlier? Maybe a bad matchup or something like that compared to, he had 3 previous years to where he actually showed an elevation and he was actually better in the playoffs. And then Austin Reaves, he's shown that he's not afraid of the moment. His efficiency has just been awful and his lack of consistency. Right? But during the regular season, I do believe that these three guys are going to be good enough to kind of at least get us into the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens to them in the playoffs. However, the question always remains is who's that third guy? Last year, it was D'Angelo Russell, right? Pretty much since the Lakers went and acquired D'Lo, he's been the third guy. And he played the third guy very well last year, again, minus the playoff, talking strictly the regular season, right? He played very well as the third guy, Austin Reaves as your fourth, Rui as your fifth. But, however, there are concerns about Rui, or there are concerns about D'Lo, right? And then Austin Reaves, he's still struggling to shoot the basketball. Now, if Austin Reaves can kind of come around and get back to form that we saw, not last year, but the previous year, then there's a real argument for him to kind of be the third guy, right? Because he doesn't disappear in those moments. He isn't afraid of those moments. He has elevated when need be, but he just is incredibly inefficient right now and just seems to not remember how to shoot. Now, again, I'm not saying he won't come around. There's concerns with all three of these guys, not to mention the defensive side of things, right? I haven't even talked about the defense side, right? Like Rui said he can defend 1 through 5. We're still waiting to see it, right? He can defend 4s, he can defend 5s, but he's getting torched at, 1 through 3. D'Angelo Russell, he has moments, he has sequences, but he hasn't been a great defender. Austin Reaves, to his credit, actually has been very good so far in preseason. Can he maintain that? Because last season, he was a traffic cone on defense. He was just there, right? He was just a distraction rather than like somebody that's actively causing trouble on the defensive side. But I also look at these three. And I do think that there is a genuine argument to make Rui Hachimura your third guy. And there's several reasons for this, right? One, the kind of downside is Rui is having to play out of position still because of LeBron James. As long as LeBron is on this team, LeBron has to play the 4, particularly on the defensive side. Now, offensively, you can maybe slot Rui at the 4 and then LeBron at the 3 and have him kind of be out on the perimeter. But defensively, you're going to have LeBron play the 4 and then Rui the 3, which kind of puts him out of position. I know his numbers are solid at the 3. However, he is best, and every time he plays the 4, he has his best games. He literally had a career night playing the 4 in one of the games last season when LeBron sat out. But a couple things about Rui, right? One, he is our most efficient guy. Talking about the 3 main guys, right? He is our most efficient guy, both from 3-point range last season as well as from 2-point range. I mean, D'Lo shot 41% from 3 on higher volume, but Rui on 3.5 attempts shot 42.2%, which is good. Now, again, D'Lo doubled in volume, and D'Lo is our best volume 3-point shooter without a doubt. But Rui is another efficient 3-point shooter that can knock it down. His rebounding has been spectacular so far through preseason, right? JJ Redick really made an emphasis on him being a better rebounder. JJ Redick really talked that he believed that Rui could be an elite rebounder, and you've seen the uptick. I mean, he gave you 9 the other night, right? Rebounding-wise, if he can continue to improve in that, that'll be great. He's not a guy that really passes, right? Like, he gets the ball, he's scoring. But that's fine, right? Like, especially if you put him in the right spots, you put him in the right positions. And JJ Redick's talked a lot about kind of maximizing Rui, that he doesn't want Rui just to settle for threes, right? Close the attack, attack the closeouts, right? Take advantages of the mismatches, use your size and your strength to get to your spots. And you saw that particularly last game. He wasn't really hitting shots, like nobody really was. The Lakers really struggled to shoot the last game. However, you look at Rui Hachimura, he was a guy that was knocking it down with efficiency. He's one of the best mid-range shooters in the entire league, right? When he's in that mid-range and he's able to get to his spots, he is absolute money. He is absolute butter. His size and his strength around the basket is really good as well, right? Because he can finish through stronger physical guys. And he just is he's just such a tough ask for opposing defenders, right? Because guys that are the size of him, he can kind of get around, he can kind of be crafty, get to his spots. Guys that aren't, he's just going to bully and get you to where you need to go. And again, it's more so about his efficiency. I'm not saying Rui needs to take 20 field goal attempts per game, but you look at him and, even last season, as your 5th option gave you 14. I really believe Rui can be a 20-point-a-game guy if slotted properly and asked to just be more than a corner 3-point shooter. If you really put him in proper slotting and proper positioning to, better utilize and maximize his skill set, as well as take advantages of, again, mismatches and things like that, I do think that there is a greater upside for Rui and what he can provide, right? Where, again, Reaves and D'Lo, both, when they're cooking and they're on, are special, right? D'Lo, I mean, seriously, we had games last year, it was just like, it was like, is that D'Lo or is that Steph, right? Like, he even joked about it, right? But in all seriousness, he has these games where he is just spectacular. And Austin Reaves, when he's on and he's being aggressive and he's finding his shot and he's hitting his rhythm, he's a guy who go get you 20, 25, right? Like both D'Lo we've seen go get you 25 to 30 on any given night when he's on. Same thing with Austin Reaves. But they're also asked to, be more catch and shoot guys. They're asked more to, and they don't really have, like Austin Reaves is crafty. He can kind of get into the teeth of the defense, kind of create contact and shoot over the top. But he's not like this super explosive, get to his spots, mid-range assassin. Like, Rui's just best in the role of, like, give him the ball and let him go get you a bucket, right? But you got to slot him properly. Austin Reaves is another guy that can go do that. D'Lo, he's kind of got to be a little more calculated, right? He's kind of, like, he just moves so slow throughout. And, I mean, it's his lack of athleticism, his lack of foot speed. I mean, even D'Lo has talked about it and how it's a hindrance at times. However, you really look at what D'Lo and what he's best at is the guy that's just, the movement shooter, ball in his hands, let him get up 10 threes a game. Right? You look at Austin Reaves, occasion when he's being aggressive and getting to his spots, yes, he can knock him down, but he also lacks size at times. He's not super athletic. He's not this hyper athlete. Where Rui's the guy that he has the size, he has the physicality. He's not this super athlete, But because of his size, he's able to get to his spots. He's able to bump guys off and get and shoot over the top. And he's just so efficient, especially once he starts to get going. Right? So we've kind of looked at this. And again, this is just more of just a brainstorming fun conversation. I don't even necessarily think the Lakers would do this, but I do think that there is a genuine argument for Rui to be your third guy. Right? Unless we pull off a trade to go get that clear third guy, I do think Rui can provide what you need. I think Rui can be a guy that can, because again, it's more the efficiency and the advantages that you have with Rui Hachimura that you just don't have with anyone else. You don't have those advantages with D'Angelo Russell. You don't have those advantages with Austin Reaves. You have those advantages with Rui Hachimura. And so why not maximize and capitalize those advantages and just at least see, right? Like, what's wrong? Like, I don't even hate if, when he's with the main starters, he's kind of just playing the role that he's been playing. But then, when LeBron goes to the bench, now Rui becomes the second option. Right? Like, so let's say your first shift, because it's been like Max Christie, right? But like, say you take out LeBron, slide Rui to the 4, and then, when Vando's healthy, you bring in Vando. All right. Well, now, again, maximize Rui. Put Rui in the right slots. Put Rui in the right position. And I do think he can be the third guy for the Lakers. I think he's the guy that can handle a lot of the workload and a lot of the offensive production that you need from your guys. And again, he's a guy that come playoff time, especially if he does get acclimated to that third guy role and he does get the opportunity, he does get the shot attempts. Because really for Rui, it's just the attempts. Right? It's just the attempts in the role because of his efficiency. Now, there is a concern because you do see guys that, like when they get 10 field goal attempts, they're incredibly efficient. But as soon as they jump up to like even 12 or 15, they're not. But we've seen Rui, when he gets those attempts, be great and go give you a 25, go give you a 30. So I don't think that Rui would be one of those guys. I actually think Rui would be really good. Question about Rui is just how consistent, because he is very efficient, but night in and night out, can he put it together? Because we've never really seen that. Right? There's a lot of guys that are very efficient, but can they be that efficient go-to guy game in and game out, night in and night out? But he'd be the third guy, not the first, second option. Right? So as long as he's giving you some level of production, because we've seen Austin Reaves, have bad nights and just completely disappear. We've seen D'Angelo Russell have bad nights, completely disappear. We've also seen that with Rui, but I also think Darvin Ham never really, the difference between Rui and those guys is you can move Rui to his natural spot and let him go to work. Right? Like D'Lo and Reaves are having struggles in their natural spot at times. And where Rui, it's like, okay, well, he's having his struggles tonight, but he's playing out of position. What happens if you just move him to the 4, dump it down to him on the block, and let him go to work? Does he continue to have his struggles or no? Right? Because Darvin Ham just basically had him tucked away in the corner, and then when Rui did want to try to get something going, he had to create for himself, beat guys off the dribble, kind of try to get to his spots. He had to work harder. Where if you put him in position where he doesn't have to work so hard, and he can just go to work, rather than I have to, get ready, drive, it's like, hey, no. You just wake up and you're there. Boom, here's the ball, let's go. I think Rui can provide a lot of what you need. So I do think that there is a genuine argument of Rui Hachimura being that third option for the Lakers this year. And I do think that there is I do think that there will be, especially with the type of offense you're running, a committee type of thing. But to have Rui that you can just go get us a bucket, I think is very valuable and goes a real long way. And I do think it's something that you got to at least consider and explore and see what comes of it. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think Rui should be our third guy, put him on the block, let him go to work, let him do his damage? Do you think no, right, keep it D'Lo, or no, it should be more Reaves? Do you think no, it should be committee? kind of group whoever has the hot hand tonight, do that. The only problem with like whoever it is tonight is that you don't have like that like you don't know who it's going to be and how it's going to go about. Or if you kind of have that guy sort of designated, it's like you're clearly the third guy, everyone kind of knows what you're looking for, right? And that doesn't mean that, D'Lo's cooking and he's 8 of 8 from 3, that you don't give him, now Rui's the fourth guy for today, right? But it is best to kind of have it locked in my opinion. But again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.